All right, so this is my project that I worked on. Um, so I'm just going to be going through the criteria and showing how it works. So the first one is the page loads and runs using JavaScript. So if I start it up using live server, you can see that the page does in fact run. And then the next one is multiple functions. So see, this is my HTML. It's just got a couple elements in there. Most of it gets populated by the JavaScript. Then I've got some CSS to make it look nicer. Then over here, we have the JavaScript. So we've got a couple functions. This one creates the number buttons in their normal order, 2 to 12. And then the green and blue columns are reversed. So that's what this function does. We'll create that in reversed order. This cross out function will, when I click on it, it crosses it out um, for whichever color it is. And then it updates the count of how many are crossed out because that's how points are determined in the game. So that's what that does, and that's called by an event listener that is on each of these buttons. And then we have the function of updating the score. And so every time crossout gets called, score gets updated because that's how points work in this game. Every time a square gets crossed out, you add more points. So that updates that. And then at the bottom, this creates the 4 rows, populates them with all the buttons. And then these are the counting variables, global counting variables to keep track of it. So that's the multiple functions part. DOM interaction, so I already mentioned it uses event listeners for every button. And it is selecting those and adding them into these sections that I created. I should do this to make this look a little nicer. Yeah. So I have 4 sections, red, yellow, blue, and green. They all start out as just blank. They just have that background color. And then all these buttons are populated using the document create element. And then yeah, it's appending that into those lists, and it's adding event listeners to all of those for when they get clicked. Then conditional branching. So you can see here, this is an if statement. This first if statement that this is all encapsulated in talks about if there is a line through it. So it checks, and if there's a line through a square, when you click on it, it doesn't cross it out again, so that you're not getting multiple points for the same square. It can only be crossed out once. And then inside here, this checks the color ID string with the index of 0. I did it so that the first index would always be red or R, Y, G, or B for the different colors. So it checks those, and if the color is red, then it updates the red. And so you can see the score increases there. And then it checks for all of the other colors as well. And I believe in here, this is checking for, it just uses the index to check the numbers, but for the last one, that lock symbol, that's what that else is for. On both of these is it sets inner HTML to this lock symbol. And then, yeah, last thing is using concepts from the course. So as we already talked about, I used a lot of DOM stuff, and I selected to use like these arrays and array method usage. So I have a couple arrays in here. The first one is for the scoring. This is how the points work on the scorecard, which I can actually show a scorecard in the game. All right, it's got all those, and then it's got the points down at the bottom. So basically, if none are crossed off at 0 points, the first box is 1, 3, 6, so on. And so then I have another array here, which is of all of the different, it's the amount of boxes that are checked off for all of those. And it uses a for each loop for those. Uses that for each loop, and it goes through and it basically says, okay, add plus equals, right? So running total is going to be equal to running total plus the score list. So it accesses this list by the element that's iterating through, which is just the amount for each of those. So yeah, that's the section. And then video, that's me. Hopefully you can see my face and hear me. So yeah, that is my JavaScript project for the semester. Hope you enjoyed it.